What's up, everybody? Got an update. Fix MSF movement continues. We've got another response with the blog this week from the folks over at Foxnext / Scopely. So Cerebro had a comment, very detailed with lots of words, is what I'll say. Like it's long. That's the right. I was like, what's the right word to say that? It's long. So they being Foxnext, clearly are having conversations about what's going on here, which I will say is at least a positive step / sign. So we're going to go over what the response is. I'm not going to dibble and dabble in the intro here, so let's go check out what they said and talk about what the next current step for the Fix MSF movement is after I turn out of alarm. Boop.
Bring me WolverThor!
Okay, so on Reddit, I'll put the link in the description below. We got a response from our Foxnext senior community manager about 4 hours ago, which would put it at about 5:42 p.m. Pacific time. It talks about an early 2020 update. Hi everyone, I'm here speaking on behalf of Marvel Strike Force dev team. As mentioned in last week's episode of Strike Time, we are working on a number of feature improvements and forthcoming new content. In light of the recent elevated community concerns, we'd like to share those with you today instead of waiting until next week as we had indicated a few days ago. I've got some comments I can make about a couple words in there, but I'm just gonna move on. So farmable character cadence talks about basically a summation of this paragraph is that we've got a lot of questions about it. We're concerning. Moving forward, Foxnext's goal is to make at least 2 previously unfarmable characters farmable each month. There may be rare months when they fall short of this goal, but at a minimum, you can expect 1 previously unfarmable character to become farmable on the first Wednesday of every month. As we enter February in a few days, the first character to become farmable, according to this new schedule, will be Namor, who will be available on February 5th. Which is awesome. I think we all want to farm Namor. That's great. Additionally, we will also introduce farmable paths for a few more characters, including the long-awaited arrival of Colossus later that same month. So my personal quick comments to this. And I'll differentiate when I'm talking personally and behind the movement and all that kind of thing. Personally, for me, the quick thing that I thought of about this, based on the cadence that we've had, is we're getting 3 to 4 characters a month, and this is talking about 1 to 2. So I struggle a little bit with that, but I don't know. You're never gonna catch up. You're always gonna have multiple. And again, I want some characters like a Minerva, fine. She, or like a Black Widow when she was the goddess she was. Make them hard to get. No issue with that. Ghost Rider, Elsa, Namor just coming, just got the other Fantastic Four, Colossus, as Guardians. We've got a lot of tunes out there. It's like, okay, I get it. The stores, anyway, that's my current opinion. I think it could be better, summing that up. So next part, and obviously, look, everything can be better, but everything that I'm gonna personally say about this is I think this is a nice post, but I think a lot of things could be better in this, personally. New campaigns and orange gear availability. We touched on an upcoming new content, and next week they're going to release 2 new challenge tiers for all challenges. That's awesome. I think that's great. The following week they plan to have out a Heroes campaign Chapter 7. Again, great. This is the type of content that we want. Some new content. This to me is real content. Where you'll be able to get additional purple gear and character shards, and for the first time, orange gear materials will become farmable. Specifically, we're planning on having 2 different orange gear materials per node in this new campaign chapter. I am assuming these are the regular superiors. I do not think these are the mini uniques. That is something that needs to be answered, in my opinion. With a similar drop rate to purple gear, that's fine. I can deal with that. Paired with this release is the most formidable challenge, Dark Dimension 3. So that's, does he say? So it sounds like that's coming the next couple weeks. Following that, we're targeting to have a new chapter on the Villains campaign out in March and a chapter for Nexus campaign in April. Those will also contain Orange Gear materials. For additional access to Orange Gear, we'll be adjusting the raid store to allow you to use your raid credits to purchase the Orange Gear raid orb. Now, I'm a little concerned about the price that might be, but we'll see. So, but that'd be a question I have is, on that specific one, on the, the tiers and all these different campaigns, my question is, how hard are they going to be? They shouldn't necessarily be a walkthrough, but at the same time, we're talking about quality of life, screen time, all these things, and there's got to be a balance. So again, nothing, and I want to be clear on this, nothing should be handed to people, okay? It shouldn't. That shouldn't happen. But we need to be asking these other questions as well. So anyway, that's that part. Let's see, let's jump back into this. Gear Orb, these increases should result in at least 150% increase in Orange Gear material, which is nice for sure. If that's the case, rad. I don't know the quick math behind, what that's gonna mean for gearing up. I'm getting ready for Dark Dimension 3. But I know even some of the whales are, at limited number of T14 tunes, and it's like, okay, and again, you want that 1, 2, 3 people to beat, Dark Dimension 3 at first, and you kind of struggle through there. And by the way, for Dark Dimension, little idea here, Foxnext, if you're going to put so much effort into a mode like that, which I'm happy you do, after someone beats it, allow them to beat it, I don't know, once a month, twice a month, 3 times a month for something else. You know what I mean? It's like I get 10 gold orbs or 15 gold, whatever, more gear orbs, something, an Elite 4 orb, Elite 5 orb, I don't know, but you know what that's going to do? It's going to keep you from making additional new content sooner and allow people to use content you've already got in the game and get stuff they want. It's kind of a win-win-win, I guess. Win-win, win-win, win-win. Anyway. Thought, anyway, I think that's a great idea. You should do it. But improvements to the Red Star system. So for me, I'm not loving this. They talk about the last time they made the changes, direct progression with the promotion tokens. Yeah, but we never really get them. We'll be making more adjustments to this system in February. I'd love to know exactly the specifics about what they say here. In February, that will include the addition of a silver promo credit for your daily rewards. Okay, so is that 1 a day? Because I need 300 of those to do a 5 that I need. And if I'm only getting 1 a day, that means 1.5 about a year, essentially, a little less. Okay. Give players 2 more, and how many characters are in the game? Anyway. We're constantly looking to improve players' Red Star. Oh wait, I'm sorry, I missed part. Give players 2 more Red Star orbs a week. Again, I'm not going to complain about more new stuff. Is that going to make a dent? I don't think so. Those are going to be dupes and small amount of dupes. But again, and add Elite 4 credits as reward to challenges. My question with this is how many? Given the history of the game, it's like, is it just going to be, where you get 1 Elite 4 a month, 1 Elite 4 every 3 weeks? What are we talking about here? We're constantly looking to improve players' progression, and we'll continue to prove and feel the system. Now, from all the chatter I've seen in Discords and everything, this probably is the one or one of the ones that people really had a beef with, so I'm just going to kind of leave it at that for now. Reducing low quality time. This is probably one of my biggest beefs in the game. I'm calling this quality of life / screen time. Another thing the team is looking into is reducing the amount of time players spend in existing modes like Blitz. Great. We have some features we're trying out, and we hope we'll reduce low quality time spent in that mode. Okay. They're not ready to discuss it. 100% fair. I've got no problem with them not being ready to discuss details yet because of the fact that they might be working out some kinks, and that stuff definitely happens. So it's kind of like, okay, you got to work on that. It's fine. You can't necessarily share. I get it. What are you going to do? Now, having said that, what you could do? It's what you just did on Monday or Tuesday through Thursday? 4-hour cooldowns, 6-hour cooldowns. As much as I thought that was a fun test to do with Quake, I think it was a poor character to choose to test on, because it's from almost everybody I know, nobody was really blitzing anyway. So my thought there is, this seems great. At some point, I don't know. I mean, and again, it's in development, so they might be having a hard time pin downing the time. In the meantime, and this is a big part of the movement, I'm going to jump into the movement for a second here, is the movement is looking for some good faith things in the game now. They're not looking for something a month from now, 2 months from now, some promises from things to come. They're looking for something now. Something that can be done now in this regard is go back to a 4 or 6 hour blitz timer. Okay, so that's what I got to say about that. Let's see, ISO 8 refractor, or he talks about ISO 8 and basically that they're, changing this to less RNG, that they got the feedback. Let's see, does he say are some of the things the team is working on and releasing the first half of 2020, so sometime before June, July. I don't personally have a lot of comments here. Me, frankly, I'm not really looking for ISO 8. I don't want it. Not because I don't think they can't figure this out, but because I'm just, I'm having a hard enough time gearing up the tunes I have, or red starring the tunes I have. If you give me a third thing that I don't have the ability to do very well, then it's like, okay, I'm now drowning instead of barely holding water. So having said that, I don't know what the answer is here, because I know they've put some effort into this, but you know what? War was coming soon for a long time. Can ISO 8s be coming soon for a long time? Be kind of nice. Raid difficulty selector. So we've been talking about this prior to the movement a little bit. What he says here is another feature we want to announce is a raid difficulty selector. This feature allows alliances who complete a raid at a specific difficulty to increase the difficulty of current raids for added challenges and rewards. It will be applied to Ultimates 6 and 7 at release. There's no time for this release, but it says at release. But we hope to use it in additional raids going forward. Cool. One of the reasons we want to get this out is that the feel of Ultimate 7 for most players is simply too hard and super RNG at times, and which they talk about. And making a one-size-fits-all approach to raids just doesn't seem right. And that, you know what? I have to agree with him here. I think that is reasonable and makes sense. That it's got to be one of the biggest challenges in the game is that you're trying to have this semi-endgame content, and it's just like you've got your top 5, 10, 15 alliances who have got some of these monster whales, and they're potentially just smoking through it. And it's just like, wow, if you think about it, have like one level of a dungeon, another level of dungeon, and then like this extreme level of a dungeon, and it's like perfect. It's like you just make it a little bit harder, and you can dial it up or down however you want. The model's out there, so I'm really happy that they're doing that. Now again, I'd love the time to know when this is coming. They're probably working through it, but let's see. So at the release, so it doesn't say when it's gonna happen. So another thing I want to say is, again, this movement is looking for some changes right now. Ultimate 7 rewards have been talked about, I swear, since like October, November, and it's just like, I mean, how hard is it to go in the code? And look, I admit I am not a coder, but go, we've got an empty circle if you're 1 through 2 in a raid. Let's add a gold orb there. Or, you only get 3 T4s if you're 1 to 2, or whatever the number is, 5 or 6. And instead of it being 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or whatever it says, let's make it 10 or 15 or 20. Because let's be real, there's still the gold bottleneck out there, which we don't even address too much in here. We talk about it loosely in a couple spots. But anyway, so I think another just thing that can be done immediately is that, again, that's my opinion. This is not something from the movement per se. It's my opinion. I'll voice that opinion and see, if we think it's something that we want to push for. But anyway, I think it's something they could do right away. Ultimates Raid 7 raid difficulty. This is really addressing the RNG Stark Tech concept. Basically what Foxnext says here is that they've tried to replicate it. They can't find it. They don't think anything's in there. They talked about how last time basically the community who figured this out, and really all the credit goes to Maeve the Great, who's no longer playing the game anymore, unfortunately. So I'm not sure there's anyone who's going to take up the mantle to try to really digest to see if they see a bug in here, but Foxnext's current situation is saying that they can't find it. So anyway, it is what it is. I mean, I'm not smart enough to figure that out. I see things where I think it's definitely a problem, but I don't know. I got to take their word for it at the time being. Contacts list. The next feature, and this has been talked about a bit. I'm self-promotion here. I've been talking about this contacts list let me say that differently, is once the contacts list hit the data mine, I started talking about this new game mode, and it ended up being exactly what I was talking about, which I wasn't super surprised, and I'm still kind of interested to see. I am still concerned again about screen time. You know, if you're not reducing my time in game and you're adding more features, I have a problem with that. The game already takes 4 to 6 to 10 hours a day, depending on how much you play. And, you know, you shouldn't be playing a game 10 hours a day. Unless you're, got a bunch of money and you can do that and you don't need to pay or you've got a way to pay your bills. So anyway, contacts list. It's just talking about a contacts list where you can talk to people in game. It's going to be really nice, have friends lists, etc. And from that, they're going to be a new feature that will be used. And this is a big, exciting one we've hinted about in the last Strike Time. Is for the very first time ever in Marvel Strike Force, you'll be able to battle other players in a real-time PvP mode. So I don't remember if I was calling this a draft mode or if I was basically comparing it to League of Legends. This is something the team is incredibly excited about and has been a ton of fun of play during development. I've heard the same thing. The initial uses of this new mode will just be for friendly challenges between your contacts and alliance members. So again, no rewards, just kind of fun right now. You might say, well, why are you going to do that? This is the danger room aspect. So, Chew Burger's my friend. Hey, Chew, what are you doing right now? Nothing. Hey, you want to test out, Inhumans versus Guardians? Sure, cool, what's up? Or, hey, Chew, let's see, you want to just battle real quick? I'm bored. Yeah, sure. All right, we battle. And it's like, all right, cool. We test some things out, we play around, we talk some smack, whatever. That's the concept of this game. And I'll show you, this is what was shared in the blog post. So, you can kind of see work in progress, and it's set up just like League of Legends a bit, where you're drafting your players. And down here, this is what I was talking about in the videos. This is totally me self-promoting here. This has nothing to do with the movement. It is shameless self-promotion, and I'm not denying it. I've been talking about how you would be able to ban certain characters, and then you'd be stuck picking your teams, and it would kind of be in a snake draft mode. So I had heard a bunch of stuff about this, and that as soon as I saw those data mines with the contacts list, I was like, yep, it's coming, it's going to happen. And this is just more confirmation of that mode. Trying to decide if I should stop my selfless promotions now. Yes, I should. I should not do that. Anyway, this is about the movement in this blog post, so just forgive me for that one moment of weakness. So anyway, they go on to talk about this mode. They really like it, and again, I will emphasize, I've heard that they really like this in the studio and all that. I do want to make sure that they fix the time though in game. So, and then wrapping up, he says, as you can see, a lot of stuff is coming in a short amount of time, and that's partially due to the fact that a number of these features were unfortunately delayed. There are things happening in February that we initially wanted to have happen over the last few months, which is why things may have felt a little light on content recently. Again, I don't want to pick apart words, but I'll just move on. One of these pieces of content is Cyclops, which we know the community has been asking for, and we don't want to hold him back again. We take the community's concerns raised this week very seriously, and we hope this early look at our roadmap and areas of the Strike Force where we're going to improve helps to show that we're listening to your feedback. And I will say it helps to show they're listening. As ever, we appreciate the time and effort our community pours in Marvel Strike Force every single day, and we especially appreciate the passion and respectful manner for which these concerns have been raised. We know that they come from the desire to make this the best game for everyone involved, and as stewards of the game, we share that same goal with our players. Please do continue providing feedback, and we'll do our best to take it under consideration. We won't be perfect, but we strive to continually improve. In the meantime, we will announce further details on these topics as we nail them down in the future. Thank you. So, that was a lot. I commented a lot through there. Again, ultimately, for me personally, it's a step. There's many things in here that I still want to see addressed with quality of life. The cooldowns for blitzing, more save squads, Let's see, what else do I have here? Gold, I know was talked about a little bit, you know, and getting some in the ISOs in some of the Nexus, but it's like, still not really there. Mini uniques, not necessarily talked about. You know, the raid rewards, kinda, I don't know. There's a whole bunch of other stuff that I've kind of got on a list that I'm like, you know, what about these things too? I don't know. I think you know, the movement is gonna talk about what this means. Well, let me get to exactly kind of what, you know, we've been talking about, and basically, we, as soon as this happened, we discussed it, talked about it, and essentially the post from Dismal, the leader of Panzerhawk, was that we are still digesting the recently released update, and while we appreciate some clarity on a few topics, there are major topics that are not addressed yet. We will maintain our current plan as our next steps until the community as a whole has a chance to properly react and digest a response and can formulate a focused and thoughtful process to continue in the conversation. For now, we will continue to refuse to purchase Cyclops orbs, offer or orbs. Don't sell Scotty, hashtag fix MSF. So while the blog was nice, and it was a step, the movement's position is still boycotting Cyclops. So, you know, and again, I agree with it. I support it. I want to give a shout out also to, you know, Tony Bing. He specifically gave me some love in his video. Thank you, brother. I really appreciate that. For me, I'm just about standing up in what I believe in, living with those results, you know, regardless one way or another. For me, this is things that I've been passionate about a while for the game. I'm going to continue to voice those concerns. And, you know, there's a lot of other content creators stepping up on this. You know, Chew, Pika, Remnix, a lot of people who are really kind of actively coming together to support this movement and stand with the movement. So anyway, I wanted to give a special shout out to Tony, though. He gave me some love, and you know, is very appreciated. So Tony Bing, appreciate it. Thanks for doing that, and thanks for supporting the movement, more importantly. So that's basically where we're at with this thing. So that's the update. This was way longer than you probably needed. You might already know this, but wanted to just put another video out there, talk about it, give some of my own personal thoughts. So summation again, Foxnext has responded. It was a nice first step on their part. We feel like there is some key information missing. We are still boycotting Cyclops purchases and orbs. And look, for all those who are like, well, some people are going to buy. Yes, some people will buy. But you know what? We're still going to stand firm. We still, this group is unbelievably tight and pushing forward in this thing. So we talk all the time. It is a key group. We try to get information out as best we can. Be patient with us. There's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of different time zones. There's a lot of things going on, you know, and we reacted as quick as we could in the fact that this blog came out, and shortly after that, the Cyclops offer dropped. And we immediately wanted to make sure everyone knew where we stood, and we stood still with continuing that boycott. And we're sharing all of our brags of who's got the lowest Cyclops. And I can say I'm at least tied for the lowest Cyclops at 0 and no character shards. So anyway, appreciate you guys stopping by. Come check out the movement. I'll put the link in the description below. And until next time, I hope you have a fantastic day.